pleasure right now to welcome a woman who has written a very interesting book about hockey, not the NHL, but kind of the beginnings of hockey in the United States. Her father was a hockey coach at West Point back in the 1920s through the 1940s, and kind of gave hockey a good start here in the U.S. The father of USMA hockey, Ray Marchand, was joined by Marilyn Marchand Moore, author of Ray's Parade. And Marilyn, thanks for being with us today. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm happy to be with you. Good.
I guess a lot of people don't really think too much about the military academies playing hockey. I didn't realize they had it way back in the 1920s.
Yes, they did. My father came over. He was on the hockey teams up in Canada, professional hockey team. He got married.
Right.
And then with his marriage, he had two sons. Long story short, the first son died, and so they were over in Quebec, and he had to go back to Kingston, where his wife was, and she said she didn't want to go back to Quebec anymore, so she was going to stay there in Kingston. So Dad had to finish out his year with the Canadiens, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went back to Kingston to be with his wife and son, Gladstone. And they were close to her mother, her parents. And he said that he would send Ray to school if he wanted to, and whatever he wanted to become. And my father's father was in distributing foodstuffs, and that's why he was in Pennsylvania when my father was born. He became a coach, and they had some wonderful students. One time he took his students down to the New York City. At that time there was a brand new Madison Square Garden.
Sure.
Who was at the garden, but he was a captain then in charge of the Army athletic program at West Point, and he went on to become a major general.
Wow.
And he was a wonderful man, but he and Dad hit it off beautifully, and Dad had him up to Canada for the fishing. He loved to fish, and they both loved to fish. I can't think of the general's name now. Not Ridgway, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he got the job at West Point, and he signed his first contract in December 1923, I think it was. The most important point, I think, was that he was idolized by USMA cadets for 20 years. Now that's saying a big statement.
Oh, sure.
And I'm not the only one that's saying it. I'm saying it because the historian at West Point said it, and it's in the letter in the book. And that is a wonderful compliment to have a man idolized by 20 years of West Point cadets.
Well, what do you think, Marilyn, made him such a great coach? Was it the way he motivated players, or what do you think it was?
It was, and it was also his humanitarian aspect.
Mm-hmm.
He would always keep the human person, the person first and foremost, but he would intertwine it with beautiful laws of compassion and religion. It's got to go in there because his parents were so good to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he, of course, is still, to this day, and I'm 84 years old, he's still the most outstanding man I've ever known. And not only as a father, but as a human being. And, of course, my mother was, too. They were a wonderful pair. And the last time I saw them, as I drove up to their house, they were on the porch holding hands.
Wow, that's great.
That we're not too long for this world, but they were still holding hands, which showed that they adored each other.
While he was there in college hockey, or any memorable games that he coached that you might remember?
Well, I know they had they started the RMC games, Royal Military College games, and there's all four of them still up at RMC. I know because my nephew was up there for a while, and he gave them a couple of books, and they were more than happy to receive them, and said that they still revered the name of Ray Marchand, and he did so much for them up there. And, of course, they had the RMC hockey games every year. And the West Pointers at that time, you know, It was, before they got the rink when they first started. They didn't have many hockey players from the north. And while Dad was there, they did finally get a rink. And Dad was the lifeline in hockey to many people. And I know he was with, I think, Jim Frankowski. And there were very few who had ice skated before going to West Point. When Dad made them stars, you know, they were very, very happy about it all.
Well, that's great. I think it's good to shed light on particularly men of hockey that may not have gotten the recognition in the past. And, of course, Ray was one of the greats of early hockey in America.
Yes,
so I think that's a great story, yeah.
He sure was. And I'm still trying to get him into the Sports Hall of Fame at West Point. But, you know, they want people of today that are remembered today. Mm-hmm. And that was a long time ago. And everybody in my family is dead except me. I'm the last one. And I hope to get him into the Sports Hall of Fame at West Point.
Well, hopefully this book will do that. Yeah. Hopefully this book will do that, Marilyn. Get the word out. So
good.
We appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us. Again, the name of the book is Ray's Parade, Father of USMA Hockey, about Ray Marchand. We've been talking with Marilyn Marchand Moore. And Marilyn, we appreciate you taking a few minutes, and hopefully we'll talk to you again. Thanks for being with us today.
I appreciate your interest, and thank you very much.